Hi guys, I'm Scott Diamond, former BU baseball player and Hall of Fame member. So my first impression of South Korea, we came in, I guess it was the end of February. We came first, and so it was very cold. It reminded me of Binghamton winter a little bit. There wasn't much snow on the ground, but everything was kind of dark. We didn't have a lot of sunlight at that time. We were only here for a day, but we get to stay in the Oakwood in Songdo, which is got to be one of the best hotels in all of South Korea. So we've been staying in some pretty luxury places, and so immediately right then, just my brief time just being a part of the Wyverns, it was incredibly professional in the way that we flew, in the way that we traveled, in the way that we stayed in hotels. It was first class the entire way. So. Definitely got some stares, I think, on the street a little bit, but it was a good first impression for sure. Being in Incheon, we're in like Songdo where we live is like a sub-district of Incheon, right?
Yes.
And so it's like a outer borough, I guess, if you would consider it, of Seoul itself. Seoul is like obviously a bigger city. Incheon, is a population of about 3 million people. So it's a pretty big city comparatively to Toronto, or especially much bigger than Binghamton. But where we stay is definitely kind of a newer area of Incheon, and it's a quick ride into the ballpark. We have probably a lot more crossover interaction with a lot more foreign people, from airlines, from schools and teachers, that kind of thing. We probably have a lot more interaction with them in Songdo than we would in other places in South Korea, so it makes it feel a little bit more like home, but also because of how brand new and developed and just modern Songdo is, it's been really easy to get adjusted to. So I originally left my family, like my parents and my sister. I grew up outside of Toronto, and for me to go not too far, but into another country to go to university, that was kind of the first time where, we're stepping away from the family, and you kind of have to go out on your own. And so, it was because of that, because of our career, because we're constantly traveling and all over. I've seen the entire continental U.S. I've spent time in the Dominican Republic. Last year I was in Taiwan for a tournament, so I've been all over the world with baseball. And so coming over here was definitely a family decision with me, my wife, and with our, at the time, expecting baby boy. So it was kind of a big decision to make that leap, but we weren't scared by any means to come over here and try something new. And from my time in the minor leagues, I had been in contact with several Korean teams, so it was always a possibility and always something that I was considering pretty heavily. So I remember, this is going to be definitely candid. So I remember the exact moment actually, because we had just finished one of our day games or whatever. Because of the time zone difference, my wife was about 13 hours behind us, and just because of the labor itself, she ended up having a C-section, and so I knew the exact time when they were about to give birth. And so I was with Merrill Kelly and Danny Worth at the time, two of my teammates here, and we were probably preemptively celebrating. We were celebrating earlier than we probably should have been, but we were up in his room hanging out, in Merrill Kelly's room hanging out, and I remember just hearing on FaceTime, because that's the best way to contact, like him crying in the background. So I was able to arrange it with the Wyverns when I signed my contract to go home for the birth, and the way I arranged it with my wife is that I would be there for when she left the hospital, so we could really spend some quality time when she got out of the hospital. So it was an overwhelming, it's impossible to describe. Like, you're flying home, you have a 13-hour flight home to see your son for the first time. You're on pins and needles, you're incredibly excited, and it's just all adrenaline.
Very congratulations.
Thank you. There's definitely been some surprises. Culturally, by having Merrill Kelly, who's been here for 3 years, by having him on the team, I was firing him a lot of questions about how I should prepare, what I should expect, not only from the baseball side, but from just the living standpoint and everyday life in Korea. And so he really prepped me. He really took care of what I needed to do. And so coming over here, there were definitely some surprises. There was always something to be expected when you jump in, with both feet, and I've never been in a different culture like this before. But for the most part, everything has been fantastic. The food has been fantastic. The people have been more than accommodating. The baseball has definitely, baseball style has definitely been a little surprising at times. But it's the same kind of competitiveness. The fact that the league is only 10 teams, it makes it a little bit more close-knit, and you get to know the hitters, they get to know you. It's a little bit more intimate. So it's been a great experience so far. And the best part is you're constantly learning with more and more as more and more time passes.